All right, so remember how Mike's PhD thesis was exposed as a complete disaster, with athletes who were negative years old and standard deviations that implied people weighed less than chihuahuas? Well, it gets so much better, because Mike's team just tried to do damage control and somehow made everything 10 times more suspicious. I'm talking potential document tampering, I'm talking cover-ups, I'm talking about the kind of stupid mistakes you make when you're panicking and not thinking things through. This is legitimately the funniest timeline. So Mike's buddy Milo Wolf came out defending him by releasing what he claims is the real version of the thesis, the clean, proper one that doesn't have all those embarrassing errors. And at first glance, you might think, oh, maybe Solomon just got a draft version by mistake. But then people actually looked at this corrected version that Milo released, and holy shit, the red flags are everywhere. We're not talking minor inconsistencies. We're talking smoking gun, caught in 4K. How did you think this would work? Level evidence that something incredibly shady just happened. Let me break down why this cover-up attempt is somehow more embarrassing than the original thesis. First red flag. When you look at the document properties of this corrected version that Milo released, the owner isn't Mike Israetel, it's not East Tennessee State University, it's not even Milo Wolf. The owner is listed as pipix.contenido@gmail.com, which turns out to be a digital marketing agency, specifically a guy named Brian Ivan Cromer Jimenez from Argentina who does social media content creation. Now I have a very simple question. Why the fuck would Mike's PhD thesis from 2013 be owned and edited by his current marketing team? If this was really just Mike uploading the original final version he submitted to the university, the document owner would be Mike, or it would be the university. It wouldn't be his marketing guy from Argentina who wasn't even involved in this thesis over a decade ago. The only reason a marketing agency would be the owner of this document is if they created or edited it recently. That's how document ownership works. You're the owner if you generated the file or made substantial edits to it. So either Mike's marketing team went back in time to 2013 to help him write his thesis, or they just edited it in 2025 to clean up all the embarrassing shit Solomon exposed. Which one seems more likely? Second red flag, and this one's even more damning. The PDF Milo released isn't one continuous document. It's two completely different files stitched together. Pages 1 to 200 are an export from Microsoft Word. You can copy and paste text from these pages. They're a standard Word to PDF conversion. Pages 201 to 223, which conveniently contain all the university stamps and official signatures, are optical scans. You can't copy and paste from them because they're literally just images of pages. Why would you need to combine two separate documents like this? If you're just uploading the thesis you submitted in 2013, it would all be one file. You wouldn't have the main body as an editable Word export, and then the signature pages as scanned images tacked on the end, unless you edited the main body of the thesis to fix all the errors, but you couldn't edit the signature pages because those are official university documents. So you just scanned those and stuck them on the end, hoping nobody would notice you combined two different files. This is literally how you would structure a document if you were trying to fake it. Edit the content, but keep the official stamps separate so they still look legitimate. It's textbook document forgery technique. And they just did it in public, where everyone can check the file properties. But here's where it gets absolutely hilarious. The smoking gun that proves something is deeply wrong. The corrected version Milo released is dated March 2013. The version Solomon reviewed, the one with all the errors, is dated August 2013. Read that again. The cleaner, more polished version is supposedly from March. The fucked up version with impossible statistics is from August. That means, according to their timeline, Mike submitted a relatively clean thesis in March, and then 5 months later submitted a worse version with more errors for his actual defense in August. That makes no sense. Normally what happens is you submit a draft, get feedback, and your final version is better than your drafts. You don't submit a decent thesis in March and then somehow make it worse by August. That's not how writing works. That's not how anything works. The only explanation that makes sense is that the March 2013 date is fake. They edited the thesis recently to fix the errors, but they backdated it before the August version to make it look like, oh, this was always the real version. Solomon just somehow got an old draft. But they fucked up by making the draft dated after the supposedly final version. They created a time paradox trying to cover their ass. And here's the cherry on top. Right after Solomon's video dropped, Mike restricted access to the original version on ProQuest and the university website. He used his author rights to block public access to the thesis he submitted. Why would you do that if you have nothing to hide? If the version Solomon reviewed was just some old draft and you have a clean final version, why not leave both up and let people compare them? Instead, Mike made sure nobody can access the original anymore. The version with all the errors is now hidden. The only version publicly available is this suspiciously edited one from his marketing team. That's not the behavior of someone who's confident in their work. That's the behavior of someone desperately trying to memory hole evidence. It's like if you got caught stealing and your response was to delete all the security camera footage, yeah, that totally makes you look innocent. Great strategy. The best part is watching Mike's defenders try to explain this away in the Reddit threads. They're coming up with increasingly desperate theories. Maybe the marketing agency just hosted the file for them. Cool, except you're only the document owner if you created or edited it, not just if you uploaded somebody else's PDF. Maybe Mike takes a long time to fix all those errors. Brother, spell check exists. Microsoft Word in 2010 could catch most of these typos. They're acting like fixing mid-thing pull to mid-thigh pull requires a PhD in editing. Maybe Mike accidentally dated them wrong? Yeah, he accidentally dated the clean version earlier and the messy version later. Just a whoopsie with the timestamps that happens to make it look like he's lying. Very convenient accident. The mental gymnastics are Olympic level. These people have invested so much money and ego into following Mike that they'll believe literally anything rather than accept that maybe their science-based guru has been lying to them. Let's be clear about what probably happened here. Solomon exposed Mike's thesis as a disaster. Mike panicked. His team said, we need to do damage control, so they took the original thesis, ran it through spell check, fixed the obvious errors, maybe cleaned up some of the data tables, and released it as the real version, while claiming Solomon somehow got an old draft. But they're not professional document forgers. They're fitness influencers and marketing people, so they made stupid mistakes that anyone with basic digital literacy can spot. They didn't think about document metadata showing who edited it. They didn't think about how combining two different file types would look suspicious. They didn't think about the date discrepancy creating an impossible timeline. They just panicked and tried to fix it, and in doing so, they basically confirmed everything Solomon said was true. Because if the thesis was fine, they wouldn't need to edit it and release a corrected version. What's fascinating about this whole situation is watching Mike's fan base refuse to process what's happening. The evidence is right there. The document properties, the date paradox, the suspicious timing of blocking access to the original. But their fans have built their entire fitness philosophy around Mike being right. They bought his apps, his coaching, his supplements. They've spent years defending him online. Admitting he's a fraud means admitting they got duped. So instead, they attack anyone pointing out the obvious problems. You're just a hater. You don't have a PhD, so you can't criticize. Solomon is mean, and Mike makes funny gay jokes, so Mike must be right. It's the sunk cost fallacy in real time. They've invested so much money and ego into following Mike that they'll believe literally anything rather than accept that maybe their science-based guru has been lying to them. This isn't just about Mike anymore. This is about how easy it is to build a fitness empire on questionable credentials and nobody checks until it's too late. Mike built a multi-million-dollar business on the authority of his PhD. He used those letters after his name to shut down criticism, sell products, and position himself as smarter than everyone else. And it turns out that PhD was so poorly done, it wouldn't have passed at any legitimate university. And when that got exposed, instead of owning it, his team apparently tried to edit the evidence. That's not a small mistake. That's not everyone makes errors. That's potential academic fraud, document tampering, and a systematic attempt to deceive people about your credentials. And the fitness industry will probably let him get away with it because he's profitable and people like his personality, and nobody actually cares about academic integrity as long as the apps make money.
So, where does this leave us? Well, Mike's probably going to ignore this and keep making videos. His fans are going to keep defending him no matter what evidence comes out. And in 6 months, most people will have forgotten about this because the fitness industry has the attention span of a goldfish on cocaine. But the evidence is out there now. The document metadata, the date paradox, the suspicious edits. Anyone who wants to look can see exactly what happened. Mike had a chance to just own the bad thesis and move on. Yeah, it was sloppy, I was young, I've learned since then. That would have been the smart play. Instead, his team apparently tried to cover it up, and they did it so incompetently that they made everything worse. They turned a bad thesis story into a possible document tampering story. And that's the real lesson here. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. If you're gonna lie, at least be good at it. Don't leave your marketing team's email in the document properties. Don't create impossible timelines with your dates. Don't make it this easy to catch you. This whole situation would be sad if it wasn't so goddamn funny. A guy who constantly brags about his intelligence and his PhD just got caught in what appears to be one of the sloppiest cover-up attempts in recent fitness industry history. So thank you, Mike, and thank you to whatever marketing intern thought editing the thesis was a good idea. You've given us content for weeks and proven that sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. Now everyone go back to training and stop investing your entire personality in fitness influencers who clearly have no idea what they're doing. Or don't. Keep providing me with content. I'm not your dad, or maybe I am. I'm Zerk, and I'll see you in the next one, where we'll probably be discussing whatever new evidence drops in this ongoing dumpster fire. Peace out.